Wonka, directed by Paul King. Is it good or not? Wonka. When I first heard they announced it felt like one of those movies that Hollywood just gives us and that nobody asked for, but it came out well.
Going in, I had no idea it was a musical. I only seen one trailer from AMC, and that was it, but, I was really surprised. Starting out with the cinematography and set design, the cinematography was great. It really brought out all the vibrant colors, giving that magical Willy Wonka feeling that we all know and love. The set design was fantastic too. It's clear the set designer was intentional with making the world surrounding chocolate colorful, and England looks gloomy, like it usually is. Now, let's talk about the cast. I was a bit unsure about Timothée Chalamet at first, but he definitely won me over. Hell, I even chuckled a few times during the first songs because he caught me by surprise. I know he went to NYU and he's a theater kid. He did great. So great, in fact, he even got nominated for a Golden Globe, and I didn't even know. But it was deserved. I mean, he did awesome. Michael Keegan was also great. I love seeing him in Key and Peele. He's one of my favorite comedians. He was hilarious as always. Even in like a small role like this, it's always great to see him. Calla Lane was really a standout for me. She was a great companion for Wonka and gave the film some life. She felt like the Robin Timothy's Batman in this. She has a lot of great moments and scenes, and a story that really comes together at the end. Another great performance for me was Patterson Joseph's performance. He was the antagonist in this film and was a great foil for Wonka. He was witty, clever, and funny. He kind of plays this goofy, like cartoony villain. Kind of reminds you like Mr. Mosby from like Zack and Cody. Overall, the performances were great in general. Moving on to the music, I gotta say I really did enjoy it. Timothy is surprisingly a pretty good singer. Not know that about him at all. I know music isn't new to Willy Wonka, but I think this version of it did it well. The songs were fun, it was the right amount. I wasn't bored when they weren't singing, I was still engaged. And usually when I started to get a little bored and nod off, I was hit with a song. Paul King and Simon Farnaby did a great job directing and writing. I thought the pacing was pretty good. I wasn't really bored. I think the music did a good job of keeping us really engaged. If we were to go back and compare like the previous Willy Wonka films, I know some diehard fans might not be able to accept this new version. And the things with like retellings and like prequels and stuff is that we'll always compare it to like the things of the past and what we had before it. So it's inevitable you're gonna have somebody saying this version isn't as good, or this one wasn't their favorite in the bunch. In my childhood, I grew up with Johnny Depp's version of Willy Wonka, and I loved it. Like to me, that still is my favorite version of Willy Wonka. I think his version's iconic. He's funny and mysterious, and he has a pretty compelling story with him and his father. But Chalamet's take as a younger Wonka brings a refreshing change to the character. Some may love the 1971 Gene Wilder's Wonka, which is just not for me. It's not my generation. I just didn't grow on that Wonka. Or you like Johnny Depp's. But Timothy did a pretty good job. As for the story itself, it's solid. The script works well for a kid's film, but there are plenty of moments for adults to enjoy and have a good laugh. I think it hit that middle ground pretty well in terms of comedy, so it's not too kiddie, but definitely still a family film. Maybe the movie was a little too long, but now I'm just nitpicking. I'm not sure how this movie fits into the other Willy Wonka films as a prequel, but as a generation's like Willy Wonka, I think it stands pretty strong. Overall, I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Even if you're not a fan of this Willy Wonka and you have your loyalties elsewhere, it's still a good watch. Will this Wonka be a classic for the new generation? I don't know. Are we going to get a new iteration of Willy Wonka for generations to come? I don't know. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I have a ton of videos planned, guys. It really means a lot. Until next time.